Now we're gonna do a quick little 0 to 60 because I always want to see what a 0 to 60 of 8 seconds feels like. So 3, we're now sporty as setting, and just for the fun of it, we'll turn off traction control. 3, 2, 1. More than enough power, well, braking power at least, to slow us down nicely. Oh yeah, very good braking power. Ladies and gentlemen, today you guys join me in the 2024 Hyundai Elantra. The entry level, with a 2-liter 4-cylinder pushing 147 horsepower, 132 pound-feet of torque, and a CVT transmission that Hyundai loves to put in a lot of their cars. But this is what she sounds like. Let's do a quick little walk around then. Oh yeah, let me grab the keys before I lock myself out of the car. But this is what a key looks like. Classic of Hyundai, they've at least updated the key so the key looks a little bit nicer. But coming to the looks department of this thing is arguably the sharpest looking one. And since it is the sharpest looking one, you would think it's one of the quicker ones, but no, 0 to 60 comes in a good 8 seconds. Front wheel drive transmission, no, front wheel drive drivetrain. Pleh, I cannot speak right now. And since it's not the most fastest thing out there, we should talk about at least the gas mileage, because most people won't be buying this for the speed. They'll be buying it because it looks sharp and it's probably going to be somewhat quick. Well, not quick, but you know what I mean. The gas mileage for this one is around 32 in the city and around 42 on the highway, so decent numbers all around, although those numbers are kind of hard to achieve while you're driving regularly. If we hop to the trunk, for example, and you're wondering how a trunk space looks like, you can easily fit up to 6 carry-on bags in here, so a decent amount of space while you're hauling 4 or 5 adults in there. So honestly, not too bad. The biggest part about this car is honestly going to be the body lines. The body lines look absolutely good. Again, it looks like a Honda Civic but drives like a Toyota Corolla in terms of sharpness and the way it handles. But let's hop inside. I'll explain it a little bit more as I'm driving this thing, but cloth seats all around. A good, I want to say 8.2 inches of screen, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, no wireless charging, completely digital gauge cluster, and let's take it for a little drive. So we're gonna rev it up a little bit, give you a quick little 0 to 60, and we'll continue to review this little bad boy. Revving it up a bit. Yep, 4,000 RPM soft limiter. Makes sense though. Makes just about enough sense. But what do I mean this thing looks like a Honda Civic but drives like a Corolla? If you ever drove any Honda Civic in your life, you know when the RPMs get high, the car feels fast. It actually does. And if you've driven a Toyota Corolla, you know no matter how high your RPMs get or how much you push the car, it still feels slow even though you could be doing well above 60. Like, I'll show it to you right now. Like, the thing is, because you're still accelerating, you can still feel the power in there, and putting it in sport mode makes it feel a little bit sporty, but it's nowhere near as engaging as you would think it is. That's not where this car shines. It's very, very handsomely priced. This thing you can almost brand new for 30K, which is a really, really good deal. And as you're driving it, you can see a little bit of why people would like it. It looks sharp. I would get this thing in black because the sharp lines, although in black you'll be able to see as much of the sharp lines, it's still pretty good still. Enjoyable. It's quick enough. Not really quick enough to get you in trouble, because by the time you get to those crazy levels of speed, it's gonna take you way too long for you to get to those levels of speed, and it won't be as fun to even try to get those levels of speed, essentially. Okay, so I just had to cut out real quick, but again, this car is fairly simple. And now we're gonna do a quick little 0 to 60 because I always want to see what a 0 to 60 of 8 seconds feels like. So 3, we're now sporty as setting, and just for the fun of it, we'll turn off traction control. 3, 2, 1. And now braking, more than enough power. Well, braking power at least to slow us down nicely. Oh yeah, very good braking power. And I don't think traffic in front of me is going to be moving as well as I'm thinking it's going to be moving. So maybe we might have to do a quick little 3-point turn. But yes, you do have a manual mode for you to manually select your gears. Though I would love to try this out with a proper manual transmission. It'll probably be a little bit more engaging that way too. But again, the car is sharply dressed. Like, look at the interior. Everything is slightly facing towards the driver. And if your passenger is afraid of the wheel driving style, they have this little handle right here to hang on to. So if I could sit in the passenger, I'm sorry to you guys, but you could just hang on to this as we take some corners. Handles pretty well though. Steering wheel is light. It's a nimble little car, and you can feel the nimbleness translated into the car as well. Now, let's say you want to see what your backup camera looks like. You have a dedicated button to show you that. So pop in that, we can see the BMW right behind us. Can we see the license plate? No, because it doesn't have a front license plate. But yeah, not bad though, not bad. And yes, let's put it in our eco mode and see how our gas mileage does, because this is probably one of the car's strongest points. It's not the most sportiest car out there. It's not like Honda Civics, and I'm not sure how big the aftermarket community for this car really is. But again, for the price, this is one of the best looking cars you can get. Oh. And the speed is just more than enough for you to enjoy it if you really wanted to. Again, any car can be fun if you really put your mind to it. And how would I rank this against cars like the Honda Civic, the Toyota Corolla? I'll say this one does its best to have more features, to have a little bit of character per se. Like, look at this. What car that is not a supercar or a sports car even has a handle for your passenger to hold on to? Again, all plastic material all around, and decent, not infotainment system, but decent audio system as well. So let us quickly test that out right now. And one of my favorite tests to do on all these cars is to see how well the voice recognition system is. So we do not have that available because you gotta do that when your phone is connected. So if you don't connect your phone to Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, your voice commands will not work. So let us just manually tune our radio into, okay, screen's a little bit slow.
That's genius.
I love this so much. I was like,
yeah, it's decent. Nothing crazy, nothing groundbreaking, but it's simple. Does the job, right? As you need it to do. And as we're cruising right now, we're gonna turn on our child cruise control. And let me quickly turn on my adaptive. I'm not sure if this is adaptive though, because we do have lane keep assist, blind spot monitoring. So we're gonna, yeah, we do not have adaptive cruise control in this one. So don't take your eyes off the road, essentially. Now, let us just calm down a little bit more and see how well this car is. As being an economic friendly car, it's a base 4-cylinder. I'm assuming it's gonna get very good gas mileage. And if you're wondering what we can get with an almost full tank, we're sitting at almost 600 kilometers, which is honestly a decent amount. Not bad. And again, there's also a lot of trim levels for this thing. If you really want something sporty, like a proper sporty car, you can get yourself the inline trim. If you want something a little bit more eco-friendly and save a little bit more on gas, you can get a hybrid as well. So it has a little bit of everything sitting out there for you. Let me turn back on my cruise control. You can't be driving eco with cruise control off. But again, a little bit of storage down here, more over here. Let's get back to driving. I really love the steering wheel though. It's nice, firm to hold on to, and it's just good. It's nice to hold on to. I wouldn't feel tired of hanging onto a screen like this. Stitching is undoing itself just a little bit, but for the price tag, I can't really complain. For something of this price tag, the way it looks, again, sharpest body lines have so many edges. It's like an edgy little Honda that acts like can save you a little bit of money like a Corolla. Reliability wise, we're just gonna have to wait and see how reliable these cars can be. You can get a warranty on this car like every other brand new car you can get your hands on. And it's hard for you guys to notice as I'm driving, but the steering wheel is adjusting itself ever so slightly as I'm driving it. So let's say I'm not paying attention, the steering wheel will still correct itself and do everything that it's supposed to do. Essentially trying to keep you in between the lanes as much as it can without trying to correct you too much. It's subtle, but it's noticeable. That's what I'm saying it as. Man, honestly, there is really not too much about this car that you can point out, be like, oh, I despise this singular part. It's a great all-rounder, good price, looks sharp, looks edgy. Take off and go, not bad, right? What more do you need from a 4-cylinder? And again, like I said, if you want something a little bit sporty, get the inline trim. That's the one for you at that point. And it's actually pretty stable. Not bad. And if we have to listen to the road noise, decent. We're going like 80 right now, and the road noise isn't, you can tell they put a lot of effort into the build quality of this thing. They didn't just throw all the cheap materials and be like bam bam bam, call it a day. And again, suspension is pretty good though. It's snappy, and I feel like I can really enjoy some side roads with this thing. It would be very enjoyable to put it into some little back roads in the middle of nowhere and just let her rip, because it's all honestly a little bit more fun to drive a slow car fast than a fast car slow. Essentially, even driving a fast car fast will be enjoyable if you have the skill to back it up. If you don't have the skill to back it up, a fast car driving it fast will be the most terrifying thing you've done. A slow car, you can find your limits quicker and have fun, dance around in it a little bit, you know? Fast cars, as much fun and flexing and bragging rights you would have, a fast car can still traumatize you and scare you quite a bit, especially if you don't know what you're doing. Now let's say somebody cuts me off in my 2024 Hyundai Elantra, the entry-level one, and I want to honk the horn at them. 3, 2, 1. Oh. Wow, I did not expect that. I can't even lie. I really don't expect that kind of horn sound. Wow. It's... I wouldn't even know how to describe how I feel. It's like high-pitched and annoying so that people know how annoyed you are at what you did to them. But it doesn't invoke any fear or anything like that. It's just like, you know what you did, and you know that I'm annoyed by what you did to me. So never do that again. That is a funny, it's like a funky little horn sound. I like it. It's different. It's very, very different. But anyway, guys, this has been Morty in the 2024 Hyundai Elantra. Take care, guys, and peace.